The world of lost VHS tapes has always been one that has piqued my fascination. Analog horror series is depicting this nostalgic feeling that only elevates the grim topics these series use to depict.
You interrupted my tree! I was dreaming about a man dressed in red with ice cream cones on.
Even Harmony and Horror, a series that we've covered in the past, using this VHS format to depict a broken family caused by a deranged man named Arthur. That, if you guys remember, goes so far that he ends up killing his own brother Martin and stuffs him inside of one of their company's animatronics. But a new wave of horror has begun because on January 15th, 2023, a video titled "The Kid in the Camera" was uploaded to YouTube by a channel called Grumbled Entertainment. The video is an airing about a children's show that is centered around a boy named Kalen and his encounter with this sleep fairy that lures him out of his home in the middle of the night, despite Kalen's gut telling him that there is something wrong here. And what happens after Kalen follows this supposed sleep fairy is just truly nightmare fuel.
Kalen followed close behind the Kipsney. The portal to my home world's inside. Come along.
But before we get into it, my name is Wellman. Please do not forget to subscribe, as well as liking the video and commenting "bruh," as you know that always helps us get boosted into the algorithm. And before we begin, I do want to put up some disclaimers on this video, so if you want to check those out, those will be in the description down below as well, because this video does deal with some pretty heavy topics. But yeah, let's get into this cursed tape. The tape begins and we're introduced to a boy named Kalen, and for his 6th birthday he got a camera. Kalen cherished his camera, taking it pretty much everywhere he went, taking pictures of random things like footballs and dogs.
Snapping photos of anything he could. A picture here, a picture there.
And what I thought was pretty wholesome is that Kalen is pretty much just taking pictures of random items, like everyday things you would see in your neighborhood. Because when you're a 6-year-old kid, the whole world is still new to you, so that everything is fascinating and amazing. But on one of Kalen's photography expeditions, he ends up tripping on a stick and breaks his camera, which is devastating for Kalen since this was such a beloved item of his, so much so that he would do anything to get it fixed, which plays into this next part of the video. Because when Kalen goes to bed that night, still mourning the loss of his camera, he hears a knocking at his window.
That was when a sudden sound caught his attention.
Kalen then opens the window and is greeted by a sleep fairy, calling himself Kipsney. But Kalen is hesitant to talk to this sleep fairy and even tells him that he doesn't want to be talking to a stranger. But the sleep fairy doesn't leave and instead tells Kalen that he isn't a stranger.
Parents told me not to talk to strangers. Strangers? I'm no stranger. I know all the girls and boys around the globe. I even know your name, Kalen. Would a stranger know your name? No, I guess not.
But even after this, Kalen is still pretty hesitant about trusting this sleep fairy, but regardless, he still ends up opening up to the sleep fairy and telling him why he's so sad. He tells him that he can't sleep because his camera is broken.
If you must know why I'm awake, it's my camera. It's broken. And just like that, tears welled up in Kalen's eyes. Why don't I get this camera fixed for you? You could do that? Of course, and I know just the place. I'll lead you to the portal. Just follow my voice.
And what's pretty gross is that the sleep fairy takes advantage of this vulnerability, the fact that Kalen opened up to him, and uses that to manipulate Kalen into leaving the home and following him outside in the dead of night. Because at this point in the video, it's pretty evident that there is something wrong with this sleep fairy. He even tells Kalen that he's from another world, and the only way to access the portal to his world is by following him to an abandoned house, and then reinstating that by the time that they get to his world, they'll be able to fix his broken camera. And if this video wasn't unsettling enough already, Kalen ends up listening to the sleep fairy and ends up following Kipsney into the night.
Kalen followed close behind the Kipsney, snapping photos to mark the way in case of getting lost.
The farther Kalen goes, the more fearful he becomes, and the only reason he's still going is because of his broken camera and the false promise of it being repaired by the SIP's need. Kalen even taking pictures along the way, and each picture that he takes gets even more disturbing because we can see the progress of him going through the woods and eventually making it to the abandoned house.
At last, Kalen reached a house.
Just the thought of a child wandering through the night, following a strange creature, is just really messed up. And eventually we can see the abandoned home the child has stumbled into, making his way into the basement where the Kip's need is waiting for him. And again, as each picture is being shown on screen, they get more and more eerie, because now we are inside of the home and we are delving into the dark reality of what this situation actually is. Directly contrasting the hopeful and fun art style from before, all we can see now is the grim, real photos from that night. However, only the camera can capture what is truly happening, because when we switch back to Kalen, we can still see the world the way he does. Even though this house is very real, from Kalen's perspective, everything is still cartoon, representing Kalen's pure view of this world. And the final picture that Kalen ends up taking is truly disturbing, and I'm gonna be showing it now. It's a photo of a man standing in the corner of the basement. But the video doesn't end here, because the narrator that has been telling this story tells the viewer that a few weeks later, authorities discovered the basement, and we can see Kalen's feet. But the rest of him was never found. Now, this video is incredibly disturbing and acts as a portrayal of child abduction, because by the end of the video we learn that the Kipsnead fairy was never real. In reality, it was a man following Kalen since he got his camera. And the Kipsnead knew that Kalen had broken his camera, he knew that he was vulnerable and took advantage of that fact. Because he knew how much Kalen loved his camera, he knew that he would do anything to get it fixed. And I know a lot of people were saying that why didn't Kalen just ask his parents to fix his camera, but you have to keep in mind that Kalen literally just got his camera, so for him to break the gift that his parents got him so quickly, he was probably too scared to ask. At least that's the way I saw it. I mean, Kalen seems like a really good kid, so he probably felt really bad about breaking his camera so fast, especially given how much he loved it. This video really accomplishes a level of horror through sheer storytelling without a need for any crazy disturbing imagery either, because even though we can see Kalen's feet at the end, I mean, that's pretty messed up, I feel like the video really could have just ended with the picture of the man standing in the corner, and it would have been just as terrifying. Also, I wanted to mention something that made me really sad watching this, is that even in that last picture where we can see Kalen's feet, you can notice that he doesn't have any shoes on, he just has his socks. The fact that Kalen didn't even put on his shoes before leaving the house really shows you how blinded he was by the fake promise the man made him to fix his camera. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know this one was a short one, but I really did want to put something out for you guys. Also, I just started YouTube channel memberships. It's only $1.99. You get early access to videos, as well as custom emojis, so join. Also, a huge thank you to my ultimate tiers, K-Pop Lover X3 and Knight98. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's always super great. I love you guys so much. And yeah, see ya later. Bye. If you ever sat down and wondered what the most disturbing videos on YouTube look like, you probably found yourself falling down the rabbit hole of videos like Blank Room Soup, possibly in Michigan, and of course the analog horror genre, because a lot of